Hello and welcome to our monthly stats show for June 2024. Thanks for joining me. We were planning on bringing a show out a couple of weeks ago, but we have delayed producing this due to the announcement of the election to see how that affects both the national and the local markets. So apologies for that. Why are we doing this? As we say each month, we're doing this just to see what's happening with local market trends and national trends, to see if there are any parallels on what we're seeing in our market that we live and work in. So the week we're going to look at in a minute is the 27th of May until the 3rd of June. So that bank holiday week's a slightly different amount of time for sales to go through, and also falls with a lot of school holidays as well. So as I mentioned, we've got an election on the horizon. When we last spoke, we weren't expecting that. Obviously it came as a bit of a surprise. And we're now in the lead up to that, when both all the main parties are discussing what they can do for the property market, amongst other things. So there's things like stamp duty holidays that are being discussed, help with mortgages and those types of things. So does that affect the market? Does that mean more people buy and sell houses? Does that mean less? That's the question Rightmove looked to answer just over a week ago, and they interviewed a few thousand people, and 95% of people said it won't affect my plans one bit. I'm going to buy, I'm going to sell a house. And I think there's some truth in that. But what we've historically seen in elections is those people who've made the decision that they are going to move, they move house. Those people who are sitting on the fence, so maybe first-time buyers, living with mum and dad, saving up a deposit, those people sometimes just wait a little bit longer, see what happens, see if there's a stamp duty holiday or anything that can help them, and then they look to move. So although this contradicts what the good people at Rightmove have said, I actually feel as we get closer to the election, we're going to have a slower couple of weeks, and then those people who've been waiting to see what happens, they will then come back to the market, and we tend to get a bit of a rush. We actually had this 2015, there's about 18% more people bought houses the month after the 2015 election. So I'm expecting a similar thing to see this year. So if you're on the market and you notice that viewings slow down a week or two before the election, nothing to worry about. What you'll find is those people will come back to the market shortly after, and viewings will pick up. So that's a bit on the election. As we do every year, we look to see how we compare locally to the national figures. The reason we do that is because the information you can find on the internet, the land registry, nationwide property index, all those type of things, they are somewhat out of date. They're a good few months out of date. We're looking at a couple of weeks away. So that week that we mentioned, the bank holiday and half-term week, we saw nationally 31,000 properties came to the market, so a huge amount of properties. That's about a 4k drop, so about 4,000 less than we'd normally see in a typical week. Largely down to most agents, most people who were looking to buy and sell took the day off for the bank holiday. So about a seventh of that just fell by the wayside. So that's nothing to worry about. Locally, we saw 12 new properties come to the market. That's the same as the week that we discussed last month. So that's typical. So that's actually good. So it shows that there's strong demand for people moving, and there's more choice for buyers. Even with that bank holiday, there's still a good amount of numbers coming to the market. That's actually reflected in sales as well. What we saw in that week, we saw 8 sales across all of Keynsham. Last time we spoke at 7, so it's a little bit higher. So it's what I expected when we spoke just over a month ago. I said I think this upward trend as we get into the spring-summer market will continue, and be it it's only one sale, but it is going in that right direction. Short the slump or potential slump with the Euros and the election, I'd expect over the next few months sales to increase. Might only be a sale or two a week, but I'd expect them to keep going higher. The other factor we look at is price reductions. How many properties are reducing price? Are we finding that agents are valuing high and there are lots of reductions locally, or do people tend to be coming to the market at the right price? We've seen nationally, I think it's about 18%. So yeah, that's 18%. So that's a large amount. Locally, we've been looking sort of 2 or 3 a week, 2 or 3% as well, and that's what we're seeing. Same as with the previous couple of times we've spoken. We're at 2% this week, 3% when we last spoke. So as a whole, prices are correct. We're coming to the market at the right price. Agents are valuing correctly, and what I think we're finding is sellers are more educated. So if you're in the market to move, you want to come to a price which will get your house sold. Last thing we look through is just the online traffic. How many people are clicking on properties when they look online? Rightmove gives us a really good feel for this. The average property at the minute on Rightmove is getting 82 unique views. So if you're on the market, there's 82 unique people are going to be viewing you every day on average. Or they did that week. When we last spoke a month ago, 70. So that's an increase, and more people are doing their homework. Those people doing their homework today, tomorrow, will be coming to market in the next 3-4 weeks, and they will be looking to buy houses. So I think that's another positive thing that we've got around the corner. So that's just a brief snapshot, just gives us a feel for what the market's doing. We expected things to beginning to pick up, and that's what we're finding. It isn't a runaway market, and I think that is largely down to this the shock of the election and people's focus is being there. But once that has passed, typically, unless there's any big upsets, once that does pass, as we see people come back to the market and the market lifts again. So if you're looking to buy, there's a good amount of choice around at the moment. Do go out do go out looking. You shouldn't be in a position where you're competing with 4 or 5 other people to buy a property. There may be 1 or 2. From a selling perspective as well, there are buyers coming to the market. That first time buyer of the part of the market is slower, but the mid to the upper part of the market, there are more transactions and it's pretty buoyant. So there you go, that's a brief snapshot of what we're seeing nationally and locally. If there's anything you'd like me to discuss in the next month, any questions, do call me on 01179 863681. Email is David Thompson, that's with a P, at davisamway.com. Otherwise, we will speak again in a month. Thanks for joining me.